What is up, guys? This is the Brick Duo here, and today I wanted to go over a new list presented on StoneWars. As you guys know, this is basically the German equivalent of sort of a brick set, if I had to compare it to anything, and they're pretty good about releasing, retiring sets and creating a pretty coherent list of that, and they have a fairly good track record of those of their information being true or coming true. But I do want to sort of throw a disclaimer in there that this is not, 100%, law. There obviously could be some changes, but again, I do think that StoneWars has a pretty good track record, and I wanted to go over the 18 I would consider direct-to-consumer or exclusive sets that they have listed on their basically retiring list for 2021. So first up here, we have the Creator Expert London bus. This isn't a huge surprise. This has been out for a couple years. Yeah, I think it says 4 years here, and it's been an okay, I would say, Creator Expert vehicle in general. I've seen it discounted recently as well too, so just not really a huge surprise. And I think people are sort of just not going to really realize this a whole lot. It's been out on the shelves for a while, and if you've wanted it, I think there's been good deals that have picked it up. So moving on, we have the Lego Creator Expert roller coaster. Now this one, I was really curious, how long this was going to be on shelves for. It's been a little while. But obviously, this is really a huge set, and the first time they really took a stab at making a working Lego roller coaster. And in my opinion, it was executed pretty well. I never got the chance to pick this up. Still something I kind of want to. I like the set, but just as far as a sort of roller coaster standpoint, I just don't know if I'm really huge into the model. We're into coaster dynamics and things like that, where it's just a little bit more realistic than this Lego roller coaster model, but I still think it's really cool, and definitely one I want to add to my collection just down the line. I probably have to pay up for it, but just hasn't really moved its way up to the top of my wanted list over the last couple of years, and looks like it's been out for about 3 years, and looks like this one's going to be retiring. Not a huge surprise, but it'll be interesting to see if they replace this with a new Lego roller coaster or not. Okay, and then we have the Creator Expert James Bond Aston Martin. Now, I think when this one came out, it was pretty well, I guess, people basically thought it just didn't look great, and I agreed. I think the lines of the car just didn't really look great in Creator Expert, brick form, and yeah, this one never really hit for me. I do like the Creator Expert vehicles, but this one just wasn't that good, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having a better one sort of replace this. All right, moving on to the next one, we have the Corner Garage. So not a huge surprise here. There's basically usually one modular that basically leaves every year. And I guess, it would be, is it going to be the assembly square? Is it going to be this corner garage? And it looks like it's going to be this corner garage, and I'm not super surprised by that. It's been almost 3 years or so, and it just makes sense that this one's next up in line. I think that was fairly well, I say, known or documented here this the last couple months, and it's been sold out, at least on the U.S. Lego website, so it'll be interesting to see, how stock levels are sort of leading into its retirement, probably later this year. Okay, next up we have the Stranger Things, the Upside Down. Okay, so this set, I guess it came out in 2019. Wow, it's really been that long, but this is going to be really interesting, especially post-retirement, how it's going to perform. K-Bricks went ahead and picked up one, actually, so I think that was pretty good grab. But my biggest question is are they going to replace this Stranger Things set with a new one? And is it going to be as big of a direct-to-consumer set as this? And is it going to have all the minifigures that this has? Because if not, this is basically the only set we got from Stranger Things, and it's just going to be interesting. These minifigures could become pretty valuable, especially post-retirement for this set. So my biggest question is there going to be a new Stranger Things direct-to-consumer set replacing this sometime in the near future, or is this going to be it? Definitely something that's going to be interesting to see, how that plays out in the coming months. And the Jurassic Park, basically huge T-Rex with the gate. Okay, so I believe this set's been out for 2019, so it's been basically a full 2 years. It's hard to believe that. Not super surprised. I mean, this set's pretty cool in my opinion. It just, again, never really made it to the top of my wanted list. Just other things sort of trumped that. But again, I think it's a great looking set. I think the T-Rex is awesome. I've seen it on display at the Lego store and stuff, and it's just a lot bigger than I think the box does it justice. And I think the Jurassic Park gate, although it does just sort of take up a lot of pieces and is more of a sort of background item. I do think it is cool. It's just a really iconic sort of, I guess, scene, or more of an iconic part of Jurassic Park in general. So again, I think this is a pretty cool set, and yeah, this one's give me another interesting one to see how this performs post-retirement. I don't have a lot of opinions on it personally. I'm not super into Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, but again, I think the T-Rex is just really cool. All right, now we have the Creator Expert Harley Davidson Fat Boy. Okay, so these Creator Expert motorcycles are pretty interesting, or just, I guess I would say Lego motorcycles in general. The Technic ones, in my opinion, have been really good. I have one of them. I forget, it might just be like the red racing bike, but I know they had like a BMW Technic motorcycle, and personally I think they're just really like dialed in, and it's a really fun build for those. And I'm assuming this one is the same, despite it being Creator Expert and brick build. It just looks like in my opinion, a fun build, and definitely a cool display model. I mean, if you're a Harley Davidson fan or you have one, I feel like this is almost a must-have set. And I guess not super surprising that, it's kind of ran its shelf life of 2 years, but again, it'd be interesting to see if they partner with Harley Davidson in the future, maybe for a different model or in a different line, maybe Technic or something. Okay, here we have the Lego Disney train station, and this one is, in my opinion, the most interesting to be on this list. And I think this has been pretty, again, like rumored, and we haven't really talked about this one a whole lot, but I guess my biggest opinion with this is that basically, there's the Disney Castle and then there's the Disney train station. And I was really surprised to see this one, rumored to be retired and on this retirement list recently. And it's just been over 2 years, and I always thought these two Disney ones would be ones that are just out for a long time, similar to the Disney Castle. It seems like every year it's rumored to be retired, or it's not even rumored, it's just a lot of discussions about it because it's been on shelves for a while. And people are saying, oh, it's going to be worth a lot, or whatever they're saying about it. But in general, I always consider these sets to be like really hallmarks for Disney. Make them available at their Disney parks and everything like that. Just make it, basically a really long shelf life, and similar to maybe like some of the Creator Expert ones that have been out for a while, or just some of the Star Wars, I guess, like UCS ones. Some of them, do end up lasting quite a while on shelves. And I thought these Disney ones would sort of be their two biggest, like, sort of hallmark sets that they'd be out for 8+ years or something. So a little surprised to see this one on this list. But it again, this is not concrete, but it seems like maybe it's pointing towards retirement. So very interesting. And I mean, I think you guys kind of probably seen a lot of opinions about it, but in general, performance post-retirement for trains, it does fairly well, and it'll be interesting to see how this does as well. I don't have any copies of this, and I don't really plan on it, but I always thought it was a cool set. Just, again, never really got to the top of my wanted list. It was pretty expensive too, but cool minifigures, like the train aspect of it, but surprised to see it go potentially just after 2 years. Okay, now we have the Gingerbread House Creator Expert. Basically, it's just over 2 years. I mean, these kind of, again, are kind of on a standard timeline, similar to modulars, that they kind of just come and go after 2 to 3 years, and one's sort of out the door every year or so. It'll be interesting to see what they replace this with, coming up, Christmas time. But again, this set was never really a huge interest for me personally. I know a lot of people really like these winter sets and like them for display or, selling them in the future, but for me personally, just never really got into it a whole lot, but would like to in the future get into sort of the Winter Village theme and in general holiday theme sets. Okay, the 1989 Batmobile. Sad to see this one go. Again, this list is just sort of a culmination of a lot of sets for me personally that just never made it to the top of my wanted list in time to pick them up. Just other things, I guess, sort of, trump these over the years, but gosh, it's hard to believe this one's been out for over 2 years now. It's just, I just felt like this one came out just a little bit ago, but really cool set. I mean, this is just so iconic for me personally, and I had the old Batmobile. I think that was basically kind of styled after this one as well, the 1989 movie. So I would have liked to get the new one and kind of display those both, but cool set. There's just a lot of other Batman big sets out right now, the Batwing and potentially the new Tumbler coming out. So again, I think cool set, but it's going to be replaced by potentially even a better thing, the new tumbler. The Lego idea is dinosaur fossils. This idea set didn't really do much for me. Minifigure wise, obviously you don't really get much in this, and it's a decent display set, I guess, but I don't know. Again, I'm kind of in for the idea sets that are linked to some licensed theme or have really cool minifigures, and these ones just didn't really hit it for me, but it's pretty cool, I guess. And if you're into this or want it, looks like it's headed out soon. It's been out for 2 years, so again, kind of usual Lego Ideas time, not a huge surprise. Wow, Pirates of Barracuda Bay. This is one I actually thought might be on shelves for quite a while too. No really reason behind it compared to the train or the Disney ones, but this one to me, I guess I always assumed was selling pretty well in stores, and I don't know, maybe got people back into Lego. So to see it being on this list for, I think it says, when did this thing come out? As one of the top rated Lego sets of the entire year 2020. So yeah, I was somewhat right there that it was pretty popular, and I was like people were picking it up in store whenever I was there, very interested in looking at it, and parents and children alike. So yeah, over less than 2 years. So, and it says, we don't really believe in it yet and think Pirate Bay is a set that is potentially extended again, but is currently probably on the list of discontinued models. So maybe this one's a little bit more of one that's up in the air and maybe less concrete information about its retirement. So next up we have the awing starfighter, and so this just came out in May of 2020 actually. So if this actually retires this year, that'd be a pretty quick turnaround for retirement, less than the 2 years, which is pretty standard for UCS sets. I would say that's basically the minimum 2 years. So again, a little bit sooner than I would normally expect, but decent model. Again, not one of my favorite UCS sets, but pretty good. Okay, now we have the Creator Expert Crocodile Locomotive. Personally really surprised to see this on this list. I'm not a huge train person in general. I don't have a lot. But I just, from recollection, again, I think this came out last summer, and yeah, it looks like July 2020. And so a little surprising, but I do see here that it says, similar to Pirate Bay, we think that the Crocodile could be basically extended again. So maybe not in 2021. But yeah, pretty interesting for that one, especially if you're into trains. I think that's definitely a big one. All right, we have this Lego City Main Square. I mean, I'm huge into Lego City as well too, so I don't really know much about this set, but I do see here it was released in September of 2020, so that would be surprising as well. It would be pretty early, but again, I always feel like they're releasing new city sets, and I'm sure there's gonna be one that replaces this that's fairly similar. I think most city sets, there's not a ton of unique items, so I don't think this is a huge disappointment. The Lego Idea Ship in a Bottle, this seems like it's definitely been around for a while. It's definitely been on sale for quite a bit on Amazon, so I'm not too surprised to see this one go. But if you guys are still interested in picking this up, I would definitely get on that. Again, I think there's been good sales lately on Amazon for this set, even for the past year or so. And then yeah, I think we had a couple of Chinese New Year's sets on here, and it'd be interesting to see how these ones do post retirement as well. I'm pretty interested to see that. I guess these both fall under the Spring Festival. I shouldn't say Chinese New Year necessarily, but definitely some interesting sets here. I know a lot of people are fairly bullish on the Spring Festival ones, but again, I'm sort of interested to see how these play out. I don't really have any of them. I'm not really holding on to any of them, but I remember this one in particular, the Spring Lantern Festival, was fairly popular. So interesting to see this on this list, but I do feel like it's kind of ran its course, at least in my opinion. But it should be interesting to see how this does. So that about wraps up my thoughts on this list. If you guys are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, guys, this is the Brick Duo signing off.